Come on, let's do it.
Alright, man, I've been on a roll with the doing things that I see other people do. I'm not trying to steal. I'm not trying to cop. I just see things that look amazing and I want to try them. I'll always give full credit. This is from the great Korean chef Chris Cho. I've been watching him for years, and it's a Korean dish called, I think it's called mayak eggs or something, but it translates to drug eggs because they say you get addicted to them. I've never tried them, but I'm starting to look for things to do with eggs because these are from the three ladies that I've had around since 2021, I believe, but I've got 5 new birds. I hope they're all female. I gave one away. There's still some gender issues being worked out. But assuming they're all hens, or the ones that are hens, I got some green layers. There should be some beautiful pastel eggs coming like in September. So again, I'm going to be inundated with eggs. The 3 girls are keeping me in eggs, but I don't give them away like I used to. So let's make some drug eggs. They look incredible. Chris Cho. I also looked up a bunch of recipes for this. As with anything, one recipe has this, one has that, some add this, some add that. I'm going to kind of use Chris's, and I'll put the link to his video in the description box because I always want to give credit. And let's see if they're as good as they look, sound, and the name, drug eggs. Maybe I'll get addicted. Come on, let's do it.
Come on, let's do it.
I've got 2 separate pots of water boiling on the stove. One is going to be for the eggs. I'm going to hard cook them. They're in the back. I'm going to do about an 8-minute egg, which is what I like. So let's get those in. It's not quite boiling, but I think we can get them in. Actually, we'll start this. This should have been kombu. Now, Mr. Cho in his uses water, but he says you can use dashi. Why wouldn't I use dashi? Now, I already kind of messed up because when you truly make a dashi, you put the kombu in the cold water and you bring it up to a boil. But I don't think it's going to ruin it. We'll let it boil for a couple of seconds there. In the back, I'll put my eggs. It's almost to the boil. We'll get them in, and then I'll set my timer to 8 minutes. But I usually do an 8-minute egg by putting them in a full rolling boil. So we might let them relax a little at the end. So let's pull the kombu. That'll go in the compost, and then I've got my katsuobushi here, the dried shaved bonito flakes. And what you do with these when you're making a dashi is this would have been brought up from a cold roll. I'm going to drop them in and turn off the heat. Okay, and we just want to wait a minute or 2 till they float to the bottom, and then strain that out, and there's our dashi. Okay, eggs are going to come up to the boil. Let me set this now for 8 minutes. They've already been in a minute or so, but the water's not at a boil. So timer's on for the eggs. I'm going to strain the dashi. Meet me back over here on the marble, and we'll mix up the marinade. Eggs are boiling away. Take that cover off now that it's at full boil. Well, they're almost done. They've only got a minute left. Got my bowl here. Let's mix up the marinade. So we're going to start with 1 cup of soy, and I'm using no particular reason. I'm just using what I have. This is the Chinese dark soy from my trip to H Mart back there a couple months ago to Philly. I do keep all my soy sauce in the fridge. Of course, it's fermented, so no worries there. 1 cup dark soy. I've got 6 eggs. Gonna go 1 cup of the dashi that we just made. I haven't strained it off yet, but I think I can just pour it off. That's the eggs. Actually, we're getting some katsuobushi in there, so let me get a strainer. Turn off the timer here. And that's okay if those eggs go another second. Let's strain this. I don't want the fish flake in there. Now I'll strain out that dashi. We don't need it for anything here. I'll use it for a little miso soup over the weekend. Okay, half a cup of each, dashi, soy, half a cup of sugar. That's good old plain, the evil white sugar. I think I told you in the last episode or so, I do try to keep the organic raw cane around for my coffee, but I buy 5-pound bags of regular sugar for the hummingbird feeders, and good to have it for stuff like this, because I don't want to be dissolving my that health food store sugar in here. What do we got? Soy, dashi, and sugar. Oh, I'm starting to get an idea why these eggs are going to be amazing. They're going to marinate in this all night. And over here I've got ice, just an ice bath. Let's get them in there so they stop cooking, and then we can peel them. Water with ice. Okay, let's continue on. So we've got our liquids. Now, onion, garlic, jalapeno, and in his Instagram, he used 2 scallions, which I do not have, but you can always, as my baby sister Chalet would say, we'll make do. So in lieu of scallion, I have some nice chives from out there, and I was telling you about my shallot. First year I'm doing shallot, so I ran out and I got some nice tender green shallot tops. You wouldn't know the difference between that and the scallion. In fact, these might actually be preferable. All right, so no scallion. We've got, I just went out and cut these shallot tops. Man, the aroma is just jumping off the board at me. So let's get that in. Chive and shallot green. Onion. Now he did a half onion, but I saw it. It was a good size onion, so I'm going to use this whole one. You all know how to chop an onion, I would assume by now. Okay, onion, shallot green with scallion, 2 jalapenos. I am going to seed them out. Okay, jalapeno, and last 2 items, garlic. I got 2 cloves here, and I am going to peel them and pop them in the old press, because I want them real juicy in that marinade. So let's get them in the press. Skin on one of those, but that's okay because it's in the press. There we go. Get all that juice in there. Yeah. Let's get the rest of that in. There we go. Okay. Last but not least, some sesame seeds. Just got a brand new one. I love these things for so many different uses. A couple tablespoons maybe. And there we go. Let me get a QC on this. This is where our eggs are going to sit. All right, out of the ice bath. Let's peel. I do save the shells. They get pulsed down. and the coffee grinder and the spice grinder. And they add calcium to the garden. And get the shell off and right in we go. Drug eggs, you guys. And I should be peeling this over the sink. It's a little easier with some running water, but my sink is a mess. I pulled in some radish. They need to be cleaned. They're sitting in the sink. So I will finish these up and get them all in. Okie dokie, drug eggs. Here we go. Now, some peeled easier than others. I've told you before, the fresher the egg, the harder to peel. Some are smooth, some are a little rough, some white came off, but that's okay. Now, I'm going to cover this and put this in the fridge. This is not tonight's supper because these need to marinate. But just tasting this juice, I can tell these eggs are going to soak it in. Tomorrow's Friday. When I get home, I'll make some rice. Might have to grab a nice cold unfiltered sake on the way home. We'll make some rice. We'll give them a try. Now you do use a little toasted sesame oil. But as Chef Cho was saying, you don't put it in here because it'll just float. It'll be an oily mess. So you use it as a serving. After you cut the egg, you drizzle a little on. It's over the rice. Pour a little sauce. Sauce is incredible, and boy, there is a kick from those jalapenos. I'm very excited. I will see you all Friday evening. All right, the time has come. It's Friday evening. TGIFF. That first F is not a typo. We're going to take our eggs out of the fridge and give them a try. I'm going to put some rice on. This is I've got about a cup and a half of water coming to a boil. This is a California sushi rice. Now, if we were actually making sushi and I was going to do the whole thing, cooling it down, the vinegar, sugar mixture and all that, I would have soaked this to get a bunch of the starch out. But I'm cooking it just like a long grain rice, really. So, to the cup and a half of water, I'm going just shy of a cup of rice. We'll give it a stir. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm simmering my rice. I like to get the boil going here, and then my least powerful BTU burner is that one in the back. That's the smallest burner. So I start my rice here. It's coming back to the boil. Get myself a lid. Alright, it's starting to boil up. So now what I'm going to do is slide it back here. And we want that gentle, super gentle simmer. So I'll put the tight lid on. Let's go 15. And then we will let it rest for about 10. And, whoops. Let me do that again. Oh, you know what I did? I just changed my clock instead of the timer. What a bozo. Alright, so clock, no. Off. Let's go timer. That's what I wanted. 15. I don't know if I changed the time. What time is that? I'm going to have to get my... I'm really screwing this up. Hold on. I use this thing every day. Timer off. Timer. I put it on 15 hours. There we go. 15 minutes. Listen, it's Friday night. I'm fried. And having said that, TGIFF, we're going to get our drug eggs out. And in order to celebrate this recipe, it is Friday evening. I picked up a nice Nigori unfiltered sake. Popped it in the freezer when I got home. It's nice and chilly. And I'm busting out the Riedel for this because it has every bit of a nose and flavor as a nice Burgundy. These beautiful Riedel glasses were a gift from my buddy Mike in Chicago, who flew out here with 6 bottles of the most amazing wine I've ever tasted in my life. Thank you, buddy. I hope I'm not desecrating these Riedel. I'm not desecrating these Riedel. Oh, that's lovely. Unfiltered sake. Sweet. I think it's going to be killer with the eggs. So let me get set up on the marble. We'll take a look at them. I'll take my time getting everything set up and just really enjoying this because we have 20 minutes before the rice is ready. 13:30, and then it's got to rest for at least 10. So I'll set up and I'll see you in a few. Just had one eye on the chickens out there. They're running around. It's dusk. You got to watch for things dive bombing out of the sky, running across the yard. It's never ending. All right, I'll see you at the marble. All right, here we go. The rice is done, rested. I've been thoroughly enjoying my unfiltered sake. But let's go get this show on the road before I enjoy it too much. Rice is ready. It's a short grain, like I told you, sushi rice, but we just cooked it like a long grain. It's perfect. Look, nice and sticky, like a good short grain Japanese rice. This was from California, but it's a Japanese style rice. And now our Korean Mayak drug eggs. Here we go. All night in the fridge. Let's take an egg. Look what happens. Look at that color. I think I'm going to have 2. That leaves 4. And I may invite some friend down tomorrow to have a couple. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to slice them. Right down the middle. Nice jammy yolk, right? Look at that, the 8-minute egg. That's the way I like it. It's jammy, but not runny. And now we're going to take a little of the marinade. Put some on the eggs. Some on the rice. And to finish it off, toasted sesame oil, right? Just a little bit, a little drizzle. Oh, I love this stuff on everything. Oops, that was a little heavy, but that's okay. I'll mix it around in the rice. Let's go in on this drug egg. Get some rice. Oh man. Aptly named. This is phenomenal. Addicted or what? I cut that one in half. I'm just going for the whole half an egg right now. Whoops. Two hard-boiled eggs and rice. That's supper right there. Koreans, man, they got it going on. All right, I'll see you all for the next episode.
Come on, let's do it.
Now, here's the thing. I've got 4 more eggs. You drizzle some on top, but look at all that marinade. What are you going to do with that? You don't want to waste. You know me with waste. First of all, I've been QCing this all last night into this morning. Just the juice itself. But, I mean, you could do another batch of eggs in it. But as several recipes online said, you won't get the same intense flavor the second time around. But these were hard-boiled eggs just floating here, so it's not like you had fish or anything that's going to make it nasty or anything like that. I can boil this, thicken it down. I've got squid, I've got shrimp, I've got a nice white fish in the freezer. I don't remember if I have cod or haddock or what I have, but this will not go to waste. It's absolutely delicious. It's a great dressing, a great marinade. Maybe I'll marinate squid in it tomorrow. I got Tom Buddy coming. And then throw those squid bodies on the grill. Done. I'll throw a few shrimp in too. Great recipe.